Today on the podcast, we are talking about primetime Deion Sanders and those Colorado Buffaloes. I know y'all jumping on that bandwagon. We're not, but let me tell you something. They are something to talk about because they're taking the college football conference, nation, whatever, by storm. Frame on 8 podcast. We are beginning right about now.
Get your mind right. Get your mind right.
It's a brave mind.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Frame on 8 podcast. This is your boy Simbawi Nibaye Jr., aka TK, along with my co-host Omar Williams. We call him O, and Denise Obi. We call her D Nice. Y'all say what's up to the peeps.
What's up, good people?
Hello, hello, hello.
It's another lovely Wednesday morning. Y'all know how we do. We jump right in and get things started. But before we do, we're going to get our affirmations in and out the way. And y'all know our affirmations get our Wednesdays going. And for you who are getting the recording of this, whether it's audio or video-wise, it's affirmation that day as well. If you're ready, got to memorize, got them written down. Let's go. Today will be a good day. Today will be a great day. Today will be an amazing day. Today will be an awesome day. Today will be a phenomenal day. Today will be stress-free. Today will be a stress-less day. Today I will overcome all circumstances that want to block my progress. Today, all circumstances, issues, and situations will work in my favor. Today, all things will line up for my good. Today, I'll become better than who I was yesterday. I am a go-getter. I am victorious. I am an overcomer. I am triumphant. I never lose. I either win or I learn. I take authority over this day. I will dominate this day. I will conquer this day. And everything I have spoken into this day will happen as I have affirmed, because I am more than a conqueror. Let's get it started. So today we are talking about Deion Sanders, a.k.a. Primetime, and the Colorado Buffaloes. Now, I know that most of you out there are saying we talked NFL on our last podcast. We threw a little bit of college in there just for a little small portion. And today, we don't normally do sports back to back, but we figured since the sports world is talking about prime time in the Colorado Buffaloes, you might as well do it too. Because as of right now, the Colorado Buffaloes are 2-0. This is Deion Sanders' first year at Colorado. He has literally come in with an agenda to say pretty much, if you can't make the team, you out. He got some other recruits from Jackson State that left Jackson State that came over to Colorado with him. And let's jump right into this. And we'll get to Jackson State later on in the show because they ain't looking good right now. Anyway, Colorado Buffaloes. First game of the season. They played TCU. Now, if I'm not mistaken, TCU did go to the Final Four last year in college football. Am I correct? Or was that the year before?
Went to the championship game.
My championship game.
Yeah.
Okay. Defeated my team, the Michigan Wolverines, to get there. Dag nabbit. I'm not sure what happened there, but that should have been a win for us to get where we had to go to get it done. Maybe this year it'll happen this year. But TCU, let's be honest, they don't have the team they had last year. They lost a lot of guys to the NFL. Not making any excuses, just pointing out the facts. That's all. But let's also be honest, too. They played TCU tough to the very end. That game could have gone either way. It could have been TCU, could have been Colorado. Colorado came up with the W, and they looked good, okay? Let's talk about how the stats, though, because my first thing that I saw was how many times Shedeur threw the ball in game one. I think it was 47, 48 attempts, something like that. That he threw the ball, completed, I don't know, I think it was maybe 30-something passes. had over 500 yards, passing for the game, was setting all kind of records or whatever. And I'm going to go on record and say this. Let me pass the ball 48 times. I might have about 400 yards myself. I'm just saying. Now, I'm not throwing shade on Shedeur at all. I'm not throwing shade. All I'm saying is that's a lot of passing. It's a lot of passing. And so, look, give him his props. I mean, look, he was accurate. He also ran a few times. The offense looked like they knew what they were doing. They looked confident. It looked like a Deion Sanders ran team. But that's a lot of passing for one quarterback, especially in college. Throwing the ball 48 times, that's a lot of passing. Now, in my own opinion, it makes me think the running game is not legit yet. Makes me think that. What are y'all's thoughts on how many times Shedeur threw the ball in game one, getting 500 yards, then on top of that, seeing how that's going to trend out for him going into the rest of the season, because the schedule gets tougher for them as you go along. But what are y'all's thoughts on that, on how many times he passed the ball in game one?
Well, okay, yeah.
Yeah.
I think I don't have a problem with it. I will say this. I think he trusts his son. It's a blurred line there between coach and player relationship and son. So like some of that is, that's my son, I'm giving him the ball. It's like if you're watching from the sideline as a dad, watching your son play. Well, you'll call every play for your son too, right? So I think it's a little blurred line going. But the only problem is, or not even a problem. The thing is, Shedeur is like a baller. So like you give him 48 times to pass it, and he's accurate on he went 40. What did he go? 30. How many times he hit somebody?
I think it was 30.
He
30,
threw for over 50%.
Yeah, 30 something out of 48. He completed passes.
Out of 48, like right? So the boy is balling. So it's like, do I get mad at it? No, I don't see an issue with it. Also, their best running back might be all of 160 pounds, man. That guy is small, and his name is Dylan Edwards.
Right.
He is a small.
He was 30,
main
38,
feature
47.
in the backfield. Now they got another big guy. So that's a ball game. He was balling, right? So I guess when your man got the hot hand, and it seems like the offense is where all his 4 or 5 star recruits are, and they all got to get the ball. So I don't know. That's my take on it. Is he's getting all his guys the ball. He said something in the press conference too at the end. He was like, "These Florida, what did he say? These Florida guys all want the ball."
Right.
So maybe the only way he can get him the ball is to drop back 48 times. So I have no problem. I actually like it, to be honest.
All right, Denise.
I agree too, and I also think we have to understand that this is a new team, especially for him, and it's not necessarily the same people from Jackson State he's playing with. Yes, they are on the team, but it's kind of definitely a different transition. And also, I have to give props to Dylan Edwards because he fought for that spot on that team, because he had a couple other guys when they were in recruiting process that were playing for that spot. So I have to give Dylan Edwards props because he earned that spot. And I know, like, he's small, but never underestimate them small ones. And I speak from experience, so never underestimate them. But I think Shedeur overall, like, it's understandable. Like, it's not necessarily bad, but it's like, I know he realized, like, yeah, he could work on it. But I think it's just a learning experience now, and that as the season gets tougher, then it's like, okay, now it's like we got to readjust. We got to redo. There's something to fix. So I don't think he's going to necessarily just get comfortable with throwing that many passes. So I give him props, though.
Definitely give him props. I mean, he did his thing. He worked it out. Now, I'm going to read a couple of numbers to you guys. So, Shedeur Sanders, 38-47 passing, 510 yards, 4 touchdowns, no INTs. Okay? Let's go to the wide receivers now. Let me get to the rushing at last. All right, wide receivers. So, you had Edwards, 5 receptions, 135 yards, 3 TDs. Hunter, 11 receptions, 119 yards.
That's a beast.
Weaver, 6 receptions, 118 yards. Horn Jr., 11 receptions, 117 yards. Harrison, 2 receptions, 12 yards. Dawson Jr., 3 receptions, 9 yards. You had 4 receivers over 100 yards receiving. 4 receivers over 100 yards receiving. And your top wide receiver that had the most yards was Edwards for 135. Everybody was over 115. That's crazy. That's kind of unheard of. I'm just saying. So now let's go to the rushing part of the game. This is where things kind of fall off. So you have on the rushing side of the ball, you got Wilkerson had 13 carries, 45 yards. Edwards had 6 carries, 24 yards. Hankerson had 9 carries, 21 yards. Shador had 5 carries, negative 32 yards.
Oh, wow.
Negative 32 yards. The run game is suspect. Thus, the reason why they're passing the ball so much. That could come back to bite you in the end because now teams can scout you in the passing game. So, I think we'll find out how this season is going to go if they can make that adjustment. Like Denise said, make the adjustment in the running game. How do you scheme for that? How can you plan for that? Because now teams are saying, okay, you're going to throw the ball 40 times a game? Okay, we're going to plan for that. All right, let's go to game 2. Just to keep things moving. Go to game 2. They played Nebraska this past about 2 weeks ago or so. And the game was 36-14 Colorado. All right. Now, Nebraska, again, another team that's kind of rebuilding. They've been rebuilding kind of for a while, actually, to be honest. Not sure if they're going to get back to where they were in their heydays of the 90s, early 2000s, but we'll see. And so the stat lines for this game for Colorado, we have, let's see, let me get down to Colorado stats here. Going down. Colorado. So you got Deion Sanders. He passed 30 for 31-42. So he dropped his attempts down by like 6 or so. 393 yards, 2 TDs. The backup QB came in. Looks like he had 1 pass. He was 1 for 2, 3 yards. All right, not a big deal there. All right, receiving yards. Not as big on the receiving yards this time around. You had Weaver had 10 receptions for 170 yards. Hunter had 3 receptions for 73 yards. Horn Jr. had 8 receptions for 64 yards. T. Dawson Jr. had 3 receptions for 41 yards. Harrison had 2 for 25. Edwards 3 for 8. And the rest kind of go down like, just 1 pass, 8 yards, 1 pass, 4 yards. On the rushing side of the ball, that's where the catalyst is again. They had about 8 different guys rush the ball against Nebraska. Edwards had 9 carries, 55 yards. Hankerson had 6 carries, 26 yards. Another guy had 2 carries for 11 yards. Dawson Jr., 1 for 8. Wilkerson, 1 for 1. Smoke, 1 for 0. Horn Jr., 1 for -1. R. Stubb, 1 for -12. Shador, 11 rushes, -30 yards. The run game is suspect. Thus why they're passing the ball so much. What are your guys' thoughts on that?
Well, I'll start to say this. There's 2 stats you said from 2 different games that Shador needs to. It sounds like he's taking sacks for a lot of yards. You had the other game where he ran it for a couple runs for -33 or something. And you just said -32. That one, he's taking sacks. Again, that could come to haunt him later on when teams get a little bit better with coverage. Okay. 2, the run game. It sounds like all the guys who got the majority of the touches, they didn't even rush for a combined 100 yards.
No,
that's a running back by committee, and you didn't get over 100 yards. That's also can come back to haunt them when, like you said, when teams kind of start scheming against the pass. But my only counter argument to that is it's hard to stop 4 and 5 guys. It's just hard.
That's true. That's true.
You can't double team everybody. So you take the 2 wide outs away. Now you got the slot guys by 1 on. Like it's hard to scheme. And again, back to the passing numbers. Shador Sanders sounds like he knows what to do with the ball. He just got to stop taking sacks. That's my point. Yeah.
Denise?
Yeah, I agree. Stop taking sacks, and I think also Prime's like I'm not in Prime's head, but I feel like I'm in Prime's head where he's like, "Look, I got this. Like, I see what we have to work on. So by the time they play, what is it? I think USC in like a couple weeks. Like,
That's
it's gonna
be
be.
the
I feel
game.
like it's gonna be a yeah. I feel like it's gonna be a whole different team than what we saw. And then even now, like, just look at the motivation behind the team. Michael Strahan, he gave them all custom made suits with their names in it. Tom Brady's texting Shador saying, "Hey, don't get too comfortable." So it's like that motivation is just like adding fuel to the mix to like, all right, don't get too comfortable where I'm at. So I still give him a chance. I'm still giving him a chance.
Oh yeah, definitely give them a chance. I mean,
Mhm.
let's be honest. You know, they definitely have the primetime swag. Let's just
Right.
put that primetime swag. I am feeling the suits because listen, I'm the kind of guy like your presentation says everything. You know what I mean? And so you know what did primetime say? It's like you look good, you feel good,
So good.
you play good.
Play good.
That's kind of like their model. You know what I mean? So we'll see what happens. They do have USC on September 30th. All right. Looks like that's a home game for Colorado. USC is in the top 5 right now. We'll see if they drop or come up more than that. That would be a game to watch.
That's one to watch.
That's one to watch. They do have Stanford October 13th. I mean, Stanford's always a tough team to play, but you know, if they're not ranked, that's not a reason not to watch. But Stanford is normally a tough team to play. They got UCLA on October 28th. And then towards the end of the schedule, they got Utah to end that. Now, of course, they have Oregon State and they got Washington State. I think both of those games are winnable games for them based on how they're playing, but you never know. I would watch that Utah game because Utah is playing really well right now. Let's see if they keep that consistent or not. But UCLA is definitely a game to look out for. They don't have a like super tough, hard schedule, but to go from winning one game last year to being 2-0 now, that's something to look out for. And I'll be honest. This is my opinion. Y'all can disagree with me if you want to, and then we'll kind of talk about that and go to break. I think them being ranked is a little too premature. It's my own. From going from one win last year to 2-0 this year, that's great. I think them being ranked is a, hey, this is good for college football thing. And Deion Sanders is the coach. So let's put them in the rankings because it makes college football so much that better to watch. I think that's the case. We'll find out if it's really what it is, or if it's like, hey, let's just make this a business decision and rank them and just kind of put them in the conversation. Y'all have any rebuttal or anything on that?
I think it's a deserving rank. I think when you knock out TCU, and then you blow out, or you go toe to toe with TCU in Texas, then you come home and play Nebraska, and you blow them out. Like they might be worth the top. They one of the top 25 teams in the country. I think so, and they got a lot of. We'll get on. We'll probably talk about it on the other side, but they got a lot of power, like top 5 recruits, like 5-star recruits. Nobody's talking about that because these guys played at HBCUs.
Right.
But these guys, if they didn't go play with Deion, they would be at Michigan and Florida and Georgia. Like they would be at these schools. So it's not like he's out there playing with the scrap heap from HBCUs. That's not the case.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Okay. Denise, what do you think?
I agree. I just don't want this to go to their heads. That's like my thing I'm praying about is it doesn't go to their heads. I want them just to be level-headed for the rest of the season. Just have fun and don't really get big-headed until like after the last game, and that's when. But they're playing well, and I really do think they deserve it. But I just want to go to their heads. And Travis Hunter, that's my guy right there. Shador was, but Travis. I love T.O. and like T.O.'s a good friend of Deion. So if you watch like some of their videos, like he's been working really closely with Travis. So I just respected Travis even more. But yeah.
Got it. Okay. So we agree to disagree. 2 against 1. I think it's a little premature. Y'all think it's okay? You know, what do y'all think? Do you think that Colorado being ranked is premature, Do you think that they belong? They're ranked number 18. All right, that's where they're ranked at. So they went from being nothing to 18 all of a
Something.
sudden. I'm just saying,
You
you know.
can't say that. We
Oh,
drank
They
the
went from
Kool-Aid.
nothing to
All right,
something.
all right. Look, well,
We drank
not
the
necessarily
Kool-Aid.
nothing.
We drank the Kool-Aid.
Y'all drink the Kool-Aid. I'm
We
drank the Kool-Aid.
I'm still looking down the aisle. So
They
I ain't
went from
picking nothing
nothing to
up yet.
something.
They did. I just
Right.
but you know what? I think because they got Oregon too now. They got Oregon and then they got USC. Those are the two I think toughest games they're going to have this year. Oregon and USC.
Right.
So if by the time they play USC and they win and they're 5-0, I'm like, all right, I think they deserve it. You know what I mean? That's just me. So maybe I'm a little tough cookie than other people, but you know, you gotta prove TCU is a good win. Don't get me wrong. It's toe to toe. Again, it's not like they blew them out. They beat them by 3. All right, give them their props. Nebraska, I mean, you know, there's a number of teams in the country that could beat Nebraska. Last year, could Colorado beat Nebraska? Probably not.
No, not at
Probably
all.
not. So you give them props for that. They got Colorado State that's there, Oregon, USC. If they're 5-0 after USC, hey, I'm with it.
Top 10?
That's a good question. That's a good question. Top 15. Top 15.
Oh
I
man,
agree
you
with
know,
that. I
somewhere-
agree with that.
their life.
Listen,
All right, my man.
I agree with that.
listen. Top 15. You know, cracking that top 10, you're getting into SEC, Big Ten kind of football. Just like, are y'all ready for that? Like, I don't know.
No, they're not ready
Mm.
for that.
So I
Mm.
say top 15. Now you end the season out. Let's say you end the season out with 2 losses. And I'm like, all right, you can crack the top 10. I mean, I gave you that. But at the 5 games, yeah, you beat USC, you beat Oregon. All right, top 15. Let's just say they're number 11. Like, I'm cool with that. You break that top 10, it's kind of like, well, you haven't played anybody in that conference yet. So let's not push it too far. So that's just me. We're gonna take a little break. We'll come back. We're gonna talk about Jackson State, Deion's former team, and it's not that big of a highlight, but we're gonna talk about it because that's where he was, and see how things are there, and then we'll end the show out on a high note, not a sour note, with me saying that they don't deserve to be ranked. Playing Around the podcast. We'll be right back. Are you looking for an apparel company that's positive, uplifting, and truly cares about you? Then look no further. Frame of Mind Inc., an apparel brand company, impresses on individuals to think positive thoughts, say positive things, and do positive deeds. Get positive apparel such as t-shirts, hoodies, and wristbands for children, teens, and adults in various colors and sizes. Customized services include logo and t-shirt design, screen printing, and embroidery for individuals, families, schools, profit, and nonprofit organizations. You can reach Frame of Mind Inc. at 302-689-3499 or visit their website at www.frameofmindinc.com. Frame of Mind Inc. Think it, speak it, achieve it.
It's a frame of mind.
All right, we are back with the second half of our show. Before we left, we're talking about Deion Sanders, a.k.a. Primetime, and the Colorado Buffaloes, 2-0 right now, winning against TCU 45-42, beating Nebraska 36, they're 14. And so they have Colorado State coming up. They have Oregon and USC. In my own personal book, I have them beating Colorado State. Oregon and USC for me is TBD, to be determined. Right now, we're going to talk about Jackson State. And that's where Primetime left before he came to Colorado. And it's not looking too good for Jackson State right now. Of course, we know they lost a number of their players to Colorado. And I was looking at one of the games prior to this, and they were playing Florida A&M. Before we get there, let's just run down. Yeah, I'm sorry, Florida A&M. Yeah, so let's run down where they are right now. So they had a game September 5th They actually played Florida A&M. So I think the one game they played against Florida A&M might have been a scrimmage. I'm not sure. They played them twice already. But September 5th, they played Florida A&M. The score was 7-6. And it looks like they played Tennessee State on September 11th. Yeah, September 11th. Looks like. I'm sorry. I'm going backwards. I'm sorry. I'm looking at the wrong one. Let's start over.
You got the right team?
Yeah,
No, I'm looking at the wrong team. I don't know why I did that wrong. That's my fault. See,
Yeah, 'cause
I'm on here.
Jackson
I was
State
like, you're
actually
two
going
into
too
one.
bad.
No. I'm looking at the wrong one. I'm sorry. I'm
We
sorry.
got you, brother. We holding you down.
That's
all right.
We holding you down.
Listen, I'm not perfect. I'm not perfect. So y'all
We
forgive
hold
me.
you down.
I'm
We
looking at the
hold you
wrong,
down.
the wrong Jackson State. Hold on,
We
the
on
wrong
your
Jackson
side.
State. My so here we go. Jackson State football. Here we go. All right, got you. Here we go. So, not due to that. The last game I did see they were getting beat pretty bad in the last game that they played.
I think you saw
But
that game and said, "Wow, yeah."
I did.
They got blown out by FAMU.
It was a shellacking.
Yeah, they beat them
and
bad.
It beat them pretty bad. And looking at it was bad. It was bad. So they're not doing horrible, but it's definitely not a Deion Sanders coach team. Is it? And this is a question that it could go either way, but do we think or believe in any way, shape, or form that Deion Sanders was good for HBCUs while he was there, and now while he's gone? Was it a good thing that he came through HBCUs? Because he was kind of there for that brief moment, did his thing, and then left. And I'm not saying that him leaving was a bad thing, but because then you look at Stephen A. Smith, who's trying to put a highlight on HBCUs from ESPN standpoint, trying to highlight these students, athletes that are playing at HBCUs who may not be getting the shine that these nationally televised college players are in the NCAA. Do we think that's Deion being there and leaving was a bad thing? Is it a good thing? Like, what are your kind of thoughts on that? Because now, like Jackson State, like they're not doing too bad, but they're not doing as good as he was when he was there. And then a number of those players left to go to Colorado because whatever the reasons were, we want to play on national TV, we want to play for Coach Prime, this is our guy, like whatever the reasons were. Do we think it was good for him to have come to HBCU and then go to Colorado? Did he kind of leave any negative marks, positive marks? Your thoughts?
I think at the end of the day, like whether man or woman, you're gonna do what's best for your family. You're gonna do what's best for your future. So whether you're coaching or not, like you love the team, you love your players, but if my kids their cars are getting broken into, if I don't feel safe on campus, I'm gonna take that into effect with making my next decision about my future, especially for my kids as well, who are in their college years, he's like Deion's well off. Like he had his career, he's doing his thing, but he's also thinking about his kids and taking into consideration what their future will look like. And so I think him leaving, I think it wasn't bad. Like I understand, like, not everybody agrees with that, but I think it was a good decision. He made a right decision. He had his time there, just like any other team in life and whatever you do. Like people are gonna leave, so then you plan for what's next. You plan for people being there or not being there. So you can't necessarily blame it on him for leaving. And not that I'm saying you were, but you can't blame it on Deion for leaving. Like, okay, now he left. Like now the team is terrible, but it was expected. Like you knew some players were gonna go where Deion is because that's the prime effect. They want to go where the winning mentality is and where everyone is going to hold up their end of the deal. So where am I not going to go? I'm going to go with him, go to Colorado. So I think more of a recruiting process should have been done when this was happening at JSU to alleviate some of the stress and cover some of the positions. But they're not doing too bad. So we'll see.
Okay. Oh.
Yeah, I think him going there was awesome for HBCUs. It
Yeah.
shined a big light on them, right? It got guys to
Yeah.
go, like I said, back to these 5-star recruits. It got 5-star guys to go play where 5-star never goes, like 4-star guys. Like these guys go straight to D1, FBS, SEC, ACC. Like they play big time ball when you're that
Mm,
highly ranked. So he shined enough light to get great guy like Travis Hunter. When he came out of high school, he might have been, if not the top recruit, one or two, like top 3 guys that could have went anywhere in the country. He decided to go to an HBCU. So
Mm.
Deion going to an HBCU made guys say, okay, I can get light. Even though I'm this big time recruit, I don't have to go to Alabama. I don't have to go to Georgia. I don't have to go to Florida. I don't have to play at Penn State, right? But then there's this other side to it, right? Deion leaving can make guys say, well, this man came promoting, we're going to build up the black college thing. We're going to show them that we don't need them. We're going to build this thing up. And then he left. So now the 5 and 4-star recruits are going to go, you know what? I can't trust that if I go to play for Hugh, what's the guy named Hugh Jackman and Eddie George, I can't trust that them guys are going to stay there because I'm going to play for them. I'm not going for the school. They clearly went for Deion. They didn't go for Jackson State. You know,
right.
like they didn't go to play for Jackson State. They want to play for Prime.
Mm.
So can guys trust? And it happens throughout all of college. It's not Deion's was just blown up. It happens all day. Guys go to play for a coach and the coach leaves. And then they all leave
Yeah.
with him. Or they go somewhere else because the new guy
Right.
comes in and he didn't recruit you. So it's like he don't want me. He didn't recruit me. So now I'm back to the bench. And I was going to start with the old coach. So it's just never blown up other places. It was blown up with
Gotcha.
Prime though.
Yeah, I agree. I agree.
Yeah.
So let's kind of end this out here. Let's do what we do with NFL. Let's make a bold prediction on Colorado. All right. I'm gonna throw that monkey wrench in there. We're gonna make a bold statement on Colorado. So, do we see Colorado being bowl eligible this year? Do we see Colorado on the outside looking in? Do we see Colorado making the Final Four or making the college football playoff for that matter? And how far will they go? Like, what are your predictions on how far Colorado will go this year? I'll start with Denise.
Okay, so I feel like I'll give them at least just 2 losses max. And I'm not
Okay.
wishing bad, but at least 2 losses. I think it's gonna be a really good season for them. And I definitely see them being bowl contenders and playoff contenders.
Okay.
And that's where I'm gonna leave it at.
Okay. Oh, what do you think?
That's a great prediction. I'm sitting there looking at that. That was a great prediction. 2 losses max, and that literally can only come from back-to-back weeks. So Oregon and USC.
Yeah.
That's it. They run through that, man. They go undefeated. So I'm gonna say it here first. They might run the table.
They might run the table.
They gonna
Okay.
run the table. They gonna run the table. But I think that guy at USC is a problem. So
Okay.
I don't know if Shador can
might
shoot it
happen.
out with him.
Got you. I'm going to take it a step further from Denise. I'm going to give them 3 losses max. 3 at max.
You gonna put some name on it? You gonna put some names on it?
Well, I'm going to go with Oregon, USC. Okay. And I think there's going to be a sleeper that comes in either through Washington State or Utah. So, and that's my prediction. Now, I do think they will be bowl eligible. I do not think they make the playoff, college playoff, though. I don't think they'll make that. But I do think they'll be bowl eligible. Yeah. Now, Denise, you said that they will. You said they would make the college playoff, and you leave it at that, correct?
Yeah, I said
Okay.
I'm giving them college playoff.
So I'm gonna give them. I am gonna give them a bowl game. I am not gonna predict they're gonna be in the college playoff. That's my prediction. 3 losses max. Bowl game. not the college playoff, though. That's my prediction. So, what's your prediction? What do you think Colorado will do this year? Do you think they're going to run the table, have 2 losses, 3 losses? Are they going to be 500? Are they going to be below 500? Are they going to be bowl eligible? Are they making the college playoff? Are they going to make it to the Final Four to contend for a college championship? What are your predictions? So, any last words before we go from either of you, Denise, Omar, on primetime, on Colorado, Jackson State, any of those things?
All I can say is it's prime time. It's prime time. That's all I can say. That's all I can say.
Oh, that's so the obvious. Ah.
That's all I can say.
Go ahead, O.
I'll take this angle, man. I just think we should just be rooting for him because of what he's doing.
Right.
Just as a father, one, as a coach, fathering them guys, man, like being in their life. The guy Dylan Edwards, he's been coaching since 4 years old, man. Like, and his staff is guys that was on his little league staff. Like he's doing something, man, that it's bigger than football at this point. Like he's just showing you how. I know he's not perfect. I'm not gonna make this man Saint Deion. You know what I'm saying? But he's showing us how to do it. He's being an example, and he's doing it in front of he's doing it in front of everybody. He's talking the talk. He's walking the walk. And I'm sure they want him to fail, man, because he talks too much, and they don't like that.
and that's where I was going. I'm like, you know what? You may not like how he's doing it and the way he's doing it,
yeah.
But he is doing something that's he's changing the mindset of those players. And y'all know we talk about mindset here all the time, but he's changing the mindset of those players. Like they go into every game believing they're going to win. They don't go in there afraid. They don't go in there scared. They don't go in there, kind of like, what's going to happen? Like this, their mindset is we're coming here to win this game, period. End of story. And that's the mindset you have to come in with. No matter where you are, no matter what you're doing, you got to come in with that mindset. On top of that, he's also changing the mindset of how you present yourself. We're not coming in jeans and T-shirts and khaki. Right. No, we're coming in suits. You know what I mean? And that's a presentation. And so it's all about mindset. And like I said, you may not like the way he's doing, what he's talking, how he's saying it. We can sit here and talk about that all day because that's a whole other conversation. But we're not going to do that. It's like, let's look at the positive side of what he's doing. And again, the way he's talking and saying it, there's a positive side to that too. But of course, you can nitpick some negative things out of there, and that's fine. But let's be honest that he has definitely changed the mindset of that university as a whole, not just the college football players, but the university. If you look at their spring game last year, there was hardly no one there. Their spring game this year was packed out. That's a mindset. It's like, okay, we got Coach Prime now. It's like, and he made it clear what he was looking for, what they were going to do. And so it changed the mindset of that whole university. So that's a great thing for us to look at as well. Denise, you had something you wanted to say real quick?
I was going to say, if you can get United Airlines to add a hot tub on their plane for one of your players, then I got to respect you even more for that. So that's primetime effect. Thank you.
And on that note, we'll wrap it up. So if you guys listen to the podcast, you can catch us all on our website at ffmpodcast.com. We're also on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon Music, and almost everywhere that you have podcasts. However you listen, if you want to get the video portions or replays, you can check us out on Instagram and on Facebook at FFM Podcast. That's at FFM Podcast on Facebook and Instagram. And if you want to contact us, you can always email us at ffmpodcast@fairmining.com, or you can give us a call at 302-689-3499. That again, that is 302-689-3499. Join us next time for a great conversation. It won't be about sports, we promise. But if it is, you guys like it. That's why we give it to you. It's all about mindset. It's all good. We got NBA coming up eventually, so get ready for that in October. Just preparing you, letting you know it's coming. It's coming. All right. Continue to think and speak it and achieve it. And myself, and Denise, we holla. Thank you for joining the Frame of Mind Inc. podcast. And as always, here at Frame of Mind Inc., think positive thoughts, say positive things, and do positive deeds. As our tagline says, think it, speak it, achieve it. See you next time.
It's a frame of mind. It's what you say and what you do.
Don't forget to check us out on the web at www.frameofmindinc.com, where you can browse our online apparel store, listen to some of our original music and production services, as well as view our videos and projects we've done for our clients and customers.